to my channel. If you are new, my name is Rachel Amma, and for this week's video, it's the Easter bank holiday weekend. And I asked you guys on my Instagram, if I did do an Easter recipe, what kind of recipe would you like to see? And it was kind of overwhelmingly bun and cheese, and then hot cross buns and sweet stuff. So I thought today for this week's episode, I would explore the cultures. So we're gonna do the typical, traditional Caribbean, Jamaican Easter recipe of bun and cheese. And we're also gonna do the staple hot crust bun. Also, I've never made these recipes vegan, so this is kind of like Rachel's test kitchen. We're experimenting today, so it should be fun. It should turn out some really amazing recipes. 2 recipes, delicious recipes. I hope you guys enjoy them. Please give this video a thumbs up if you're excited for the recipes this week. Don't forget to subscribe because I'm here every week with new videos to share with you guys. Without further ado, let's get into our recipes. What one should we do first? Let's do bun and cheese. If you haven't heard about bun and cheese, actually, little introduction. Imagine a Caribbean rum cake, except less cakey, more bready, and then a big slab of cheese right in the middle, and everyone adores it. It's like that sweet and savory combination, and it's just... So we're gonna try it today, but vegan. So let's do that one first. Yes, let's do it, let's get into it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is weigh my flour. So I'm going to use 500 grams of plain flour. Add that straight to a bowl, and I'm also going to start preparing my butter. So I'm going to use 50 grams of vegan butter. I'm using Flora butter. You can also use vegetable oil if you don't have access to a vegan butter. I really like to bake with rapeseed oil as it's really buttery, which is great for making cakes. Then I'm going to weigh out some dark molasses sugar, and I'm going to use about 230 grams of this sugar. Then to a pan, I'm just going to melt the butter, which is really quick to melt. Add in the sugar, and I'm going to mix that together until it combines on a really, really, really low heat with a wooden spoon so that the heat doesn't come and attack your hands. And as you can see, that really rich dark color is going to help give our cake that nice dark authentic look. Then I'm going to add in my alcohols. So I am using Red Label red wine. This one is a vegan one, and also Guinness. Guinness on their website is vegan, so I'm going to use some Guinness. You could also use Dragonstrowt. I haven't actually looked up to see if that one's vegan or not, but that's also another typical one that you would use for a cake like this. I'm going to measure it out. And then I remembered I'm working with beer, not just a normal liquid, Rachel. It's gonna bubble. So I realized I should have held it like I was working behind a bar, and that way I would have had the techers to make sure I measure it correctly. Anyway, I'm just gonna add that to the pot, and I've turned off the heat at this point, so it's just kind of lukewarm and just mixing together. Then for the rest of the ingredients, I've got some vanilla. I'm using some applesauce to kind of keep it moist instead of using an egg. And I'm also adding some browning, which is optional. It's just going to help give that dark color. Then I'm going to mix that together. Now I'm going to prepare the dry ingredients. So I'm just going to add some baking powder to my plain flour. And for some spices, I've got some allspice and some cinnamon. Then I'm going to sieve that into a bowl bit by bit, just so we get that really nice consistency. I find this really therapeutic to look at. Maybe it's just me. Then I'm just going to give that a really good mix to combine it all together. And a pinch of salt. Mix, mix, mix. And now I'm going to add in my wet ingredients bit by bit. And you want to mix that together and use a whisk where you can to really get a nice smooth texture. But you don't want to overwork it. You just want to get it nice and smooth. Then after that, I'm going to add about 260 grams of my raisins and mixed peel straight in there and just give it a final mix. To a baking tray, I'm just going to use some grease, some oil, just so it doesn't stick. If you want to use parchment paper, you could also do that, but I'm just going to use some oil, reduce the waste where I can. Then I'm going to add the mixture straight to the baking tray till it's nice and flat, and I'm going to put it in a preheated oven on a low heat. I think I put it on about 150 degrees C, but I will write that in the description bar just to be sure. And I'm just gonna have that in there for about an hour, and hopefully that will be enough to cook it. And then out it comes. And then you just want to do the little knife check to see that the knife comes out clean. And you just want to let that cool, like really completely cool down. And then once it's done that, you just want to use some maple syrup to give it that really nice glossy top on the finish. And once it's dried, it's sat, we're just going to slice it up. And as you can see, it's nice and soft on the inside, but not too soft like cake. It's still more bready than if you did like a rum cake. Now, bun and cheese requires cheese. So I got some vegan cheese. I thought I'd play with the idea. We'll see. I'm using Violife's vegan cheddar cheese because I do think this one's all right. So I'm just going to get it out the packet and slice it up. And you literally just have bun and cheese. That's simple. Right, let's do a little taste test. We got the bun and we got our cheese. I'm gonna be real with you guys. It feels like a little bit of a force with the bun and the vegan cheese, but we've come this far. It's only right that I at very least taste what we've made. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's a force. It's definitely a force. It's like having this amazing bun, sweet bun, so good, and then putting something kind of flavorless, tastes artificial, on top, and it ruins the whole experience. So vegan cheese on top of that, it's just not really working. But let's do some butter, because then we still get that kind of salty, savory, dab a little bit of butter on that. Now that's delicious. It does not need the cheese. Unless you have a vegan cheese that you know is really delicious, we're just gonna eradicate the bun and vegan cheese to just bun, because bun is delicious. It's this really nice sweet bread with raisins and cinnamon and spices, bit of alcohol, but you can't really taste the alcohol. It just adds a richness to the flavor, and it's just really nice. Having that with a cup of tea and a bit of butter on top, yes, yes, yes. But no vegan cheese. We're just gonna, that never happened. We're gonna, cancelled, not on top of bun, no. Now let's do the very traditional hot crust bun. So I'm gonna add 300 milliliters of plant-based milk. Use your favorite plant-based milk. I think I'm using oat milk in this one. And then we're gonna put that on a pan to bring to a nice warm temperature. And I've also got some butter, and we're gonna use 50 grams of vegan butter and mix that in with the milk. And we just want that to melt and just be lukewarm. You don't want it hot, just lukewarm. Now for the dry ingredients, I've got bread flour, and we're gonna use 500 grams of bread flour. And then we're gonna add about 70 grams of sugar, a pinch of salt, or half a TSP of salt, some cinnamon and some allspice for some spices. You can skip that one out if you're not a fan. Then I've got some quick action yeast, which I'm gonna mix in here as well. Combine that all together, get a nice even distribution. Create a little hole in the center, and we're gonna add our lukewarm, warm temperature mixture. And you want it a little bit warm just so that it activates the yeast and we can start making bread. I'm gonna mix that together until it kind of combines into one, and then we're gonna start kneading it. So you just wanna pull it apart, and you really wanna get that yeast and that gluten stretching out and bouncing back. And you know it's kind of done when it bounces back and it stays quite solid when it does it. So you just wanna knead it for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we're gonna put it aside for about an hour. Then we add in our raisins and knead it again some more. Then I'm just gonna put that aside again, following the instructions, and then we're gonna turn them into little balls. To keep them relatively even, I just measured out about 80 grams for each one. Then I'm just gonna oil a baking dish. You could use parchment paper again, but to reduce waste, I'm just gonna use a bit of oil and we're just gonna measure them out. Now I stuck them together so I have that authentic pull apart, but they are gonna grow and infuse together. So you can put them about 2 centimeters away from each other if you wanna keep them separate. But that's completely up to you. I just really wanted that pull apart motion. I love pulling them apart. It's part of the fun, right? Then I'm just gonna make our little mixture to make the authentic crosses. You know, it is Easter after all. So I'm gonna mix in some flour and some water, and you want this to be quite a thick mixture. I didn't have a piping tube and I didn't want to buy one just for the video, so I decided to use what I have in the house. I used a mini little jug to create little crosses, which means they're not gonna be as pretty as if I had an actual piping bag or tool, but in this case, it's not about pretty, it's about efficiency, minimum waste and taste. We're just gonna put them in the oven for about 25 minutes, and when they come out, we're just gonna add some maple syrup on the top to give it that really nice glaze. And I'm just gonna pull them apart. Yes, freaking love it. Now, to be authentic to the UK, we are just gonna slice it open and add a dollop of vegan butter right across it. Because they're like super soft, I want them like this, but if they were like, I don't know, 2 days old, I would toast them as well. And with a cup of tea, but I love them when they're like fresh and so soft, so nice. All the feels, I've been munching it. It's not even really a taste test because I've already been, put a bit of butter on top of that, pop it in the toaster, have a cup of tea, Bob's your uncle. It's so interesting, when I was a kid, I hated anything with raisins in. I remember the first time my auntie, she's not even technically my auntie, but she is my auntie. She asked me, she was like, do you want some bun and cheese? And I was like, bun and who? And I was just a little girl. She's like, bun and cheese. And I was like, what's in it? And she said raisins in the bread, and that lost me because I was just like hot cross buns. I wasn't interested. Anything with raisins in, what? No. But now, as an adult, I love the bun. I love hot cross buns. They're both staples, very Eastery, very delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed these recipes. I've got plenty of bun and hot cross buns to get through with a cup of tea for the next couple days. I might start handing them out to the neighbors. I will leave all the information about the recipes that I shared today in the description bar in case you do make them. And if you do make them, let me know on Instagram, shout me out, let me know, because I love seeing what you guys are doing. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy the recipes this week. Don't forget to subscribe because I'm here every week with new videos to share with you guys. And if you want 100 more of my vegan recipes, very delicious, epic recipes, my cookbook is out in about 4 weeks, which is crazy, June 2019. I'll leave all the information down below. Definitely check it out if you want to add some more vegan recipes to your life that I made and are really delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me, and I'll see you all here next week. Well, I hope I see you all here next week. Gosh, you're rambling, Rach. Bye.